Welcome to everybody. Hey, Harold Malone is here today. Yeah. Welcome
it's
back.
John Searing that you got to point out.
Yeah, John Searing too. Welcome, guys. Good to see you. Okay, let's start this meeting off with an invocation by Elian Hal Palmer. Oh, you want this, don't you?
Only if you insist.
Okay.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for all the service that this club has done over the years. Lake Sacagawea, popcorn, hamburgers. You have made it all possible so we can do the things in this community to make it better in our 100 years. We thank those city fathers who started this Lions Club, and we celebrate them at this meeting. Ask that you would bless everything in this meeting and all the guests and all the food in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Hal. Marie Speck, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Bob Bradley, please lead us in the singing of America, or the patriotic song of your choice.
One that we know.
Oh, beautiful.
For spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Beautiful, Lions. Okay. Lions, okay. Have a seat if you're still standing. Lion Tamers?
President Cheryl.
You want to introduce our guest today, please.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. We have a few visitors from Castle Rock Lions. We have Patty and Linda. Cal, you have AJ.
Yes.
Brian Littlefield has brought Mike and Mike. And Bob Piper has Kenny. And John Claypool, would you like to introduce your guest, please?
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, I'd like to introduce the guy that ran the beer garden, and I call it the beer garden because that's what it was back in its day. Spirits of Longview is much nicer. I still thank him for that name. It's wonderful. Yeah. John was a great member of this club before he headed north. And like I said, he ran our beer garden, the great line, John Searing.
Hey, John.
Welcome, John. So glad to have you here today.
Is it my turn? Is it my turn?
Do we have any more guests in the house? Okay, well then maybe it is your turn. Twisters, twist again like you did last summer.
Okay. I was given this little newspaper, and it's very hard to see the people in it to find them. But I did recognize 3 people, so cough it up. Bob Piper, Lloyd Williams, and Darlene. Cough it up. She literally coughed.
It wasn't a rap sheet, was it? What did they appear?
It was for the city honors 100 years with beer and a drone show.
Oh.
And that's why their pictures were in the paper. And if nobody recognizes Bob Piper, he has a specific stance. So that's how I knew it was him.
Whoa.
It wasn't because of how short he was?
Okay. Mark?
Sorry about that.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions, I guess we'll start at the bottom and work up. $5 today. First of all, I'm very happy for my 50th class reunion. It's good to see Johnny here today because he organized this one. I co-chaired the 30 and 40, and he's done the chairing of the 45th and 50th, so thank you, John. Don't have a lot of other things, so I thought I'd throw a couple things here. Once upon a time, there was a king who was only 12 inches tall. He was a terrible king, but a really great ruler. Quote of the week from Margaret Lee Runback. Happiness is not a state to arrive at, but a manner of traveling.
Really? Dad jokes? Dwayne Smith.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, here's a happy $5. Had a great vacation over in Hawaii, and unfortunately, back pain and leg pain from sciatica, which is gradually getting better. So that's the great news, but even though I was in a little bit of misery, it was great to be in Hawaii.
Yeah. If you gotta be miserable, Hawaii's the place to be.
For real. Mr. John Claypool.
Again, President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, my oldest son, JT, called me yesterday, wanted to go fishing, drugged me out to Camelot Park Beach. I imagine any fishermen here know where that is. It was a beautiful day. There were so many fish in that river, they were fighting for surface area to jump in, and we got skunked.
I was getting distracted, but that's fine.
I need to give David a napkin.
I want to know where I got a vest like that from. That looks custom made.
It is.
Oh, well, lucky you.
It's older than you.
Well, I do believe that. Ooh, definitely. Oh, right. Oh, did we pop somebody?
This man owes us money.
He gave me money. I already collected. Lloyd gave me money. I wouldn't let him just pass that up, you know? We gotta take that opportunity. All right.
Here, I'll let you.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, I do have $5 happy here. If there are some newer members in here that can remember a piece of history and tell me where this location might be. Other than Lions Island, what other project did the Longview Pioneer Lions sponsor and get started many, many years ago? I would say about 40 years ago. And
Lilac bushes and large trees.
what?
Lilac bushes and large. Oh, wait, they aren't lilacs,
Azaleas.
Azaleas?
Thank you.
The azalea gardens on Larch. If you're a newer member, stop by there sometime at the azalea gardens. It's down out just across from foot of Larch Street, and there's still a Lions plaque on the pedestal that welcomes you to the azalea garden.
So you buy John Lyons now?
Thank you.
No, thank you. Oh, it's your turn.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests,
That azalea garden was the first thing I worked on when I joined this club. Yeah, it's still alive. That was a couple of years ago. First dollar, I'm glad to see my old buddy, 2 dogs. Yep. Mr. Siri, we worked on the beer gardens together many, many times. The other dollar, a thank dollar for almost turned out for the United Way Day of Caring. We had a good time. We did everything we needed done in about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. And then we
had to sit and wait an hour.
then we had to wait for the pizza to come to eat.
But we played with peppers.
Oh, we played with peppers.
Who's pepper?
A growing pepper?
Oh, like an actual pepper, not like a.
Yeah, like an actual
Play with a
pepper.
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, I apologize. I ate my lunch too fast. I had to take a second to actually breathe.
We'll fine you for it.
Well, I'm getting fined for something else. I think Eric ratted me out. Did anybody grab the paper today? Nobody's seen today?
No, but thank you for being honest.
Yeah, it's not my picture. I didn't take the picture. I'm not in it, but my name's in there. I was causing problems again. So there's $1 for that.
What'd you do?
Yeah.
You're going to have to read it. I get it for free on e-edition. I haven't paid them in a year, but they keep sending me e-edition. So
That's why.
I know.
Hey, I normally.
I'm sorry, you're paying for my newspaper digital subscription. Anyway, happy dollar today as well. We had what they call the anatomy scan yesterday for our little girl. She's got Lauren's nose, I think, again. It happens. I'll just be sad about it. But she's coming in February, so we'll see her.
Her nose is better than yours.
Mine's crooked. It was reconstructed.
That's why her nose is better. She has a cute little button nose.
Yeah, so you shouldn't be sad about it. You should be happy about it.
Here I come. Oh, Mr. Hal Palmer.
Hey. President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests, there's my happy $5 because one, Sula's here. Yeah.
Luck just for being here?
That's right, that's right. You brighten up the room.
No, Isla does that.
Okay, she doesn't. Oh, that's my forehead? Okay, thanks. Number
You wore
2.
your hat today.
Yeah.
I was expecting that, you know.
I wasn't reading. Yeah. And my friend AJ is here from the Longview Church as well as real estate a little bit. And glad he's here. The other $3 was the nice turnout with PID, Ellen Hunt, and Sonia last night. Sonia. You know what? I got up to the room and I went, Sonia, and she says, oh, hell, I was just giving you a bad time. Just like the rest of them. But they're on their way to Reno to the USA-Canada Forum. And for Sharon, who's going there, I'm supposed to give you his phone number in case you have questions that get answered.
Is he single?
Is he single? You sat across from Sonia.
Really, is he single?
No.
Trying to find my bestie a man.
Oh, Isla, we got some money over here.
We do? Oh, I'm sorry.
What are you sorry about?
I bypassed you.
Cheryl, President, fellow Lions guests, I haven't been here since the end of July.
That's right, Harold. We've missed you terribly.
So I thought I might explain myself. First of all, I had knee surgery. I sort of doing some correction on something that happened in 1979.
That was the year I graduated.
Eric, nope.
As a result of that, I had a lot of scar tissue I've been working on and working on and working on, getting rid of. But then I had another thing happen. After the surgery, I had hiccups. Hiccups. 24 hours a day for 10 days.
Wow.
And about every 5 or 6 seconds.
Oh Oh, my goodness. That would drive you out of your mind.
Sometimes they were hardly noticeable, and other times they would shake my bed. So I sort of forgot about my knee replacement for about 10 days. But I'm finally over all of that, and I'm finally over a lot of my recovery, so I'm doing well now. Thank you.
Wow. Okay, I'm heading up front if no one else back here has anything. Miss Cindy Sessions, you're always good.
I got a better one. Here's some happy $5. So all of you know how much my husband loves me and how I can't put the stupid food processor together, right? I cannot put it together. So yesterday I'm making fresh pesto and I called Jim. He's working, I'm not. And I go, I hate this thing. I hate this thing. He comes home at lunchtime and puts it together for me. Then, this is a Jim tribute, for lack of another word. He also went down, there's a shooting range where he could do the skeet shooting outside of Salem, and you ride around in golf carts, and you shoot your skeets, right? Guess what he brought home? Gluten-free pizza. For me.
Oh, bring a golf cart?
No, I don't need a golf cart. If you ever saw me play golf, you'd know why. Next time you see Dan Twist, ask him about my golf lessons. Let's just say a golf cart was involved. But I'm just happy to be here, and we had a really good time last night at our 100th anniversary. Pat Palmer, a shout out to you for keeping Jim entertained. He's a lion, but it's my thing, not his thing. And so thank you for that. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun visiting.
Thank you. Thank you for my birthday gift.
No money, no money?
Money, money, money.
Wow.
That's it. We're done.
That's it. They're done. Ooh, okay. So you know what that means? It's program time, Ryan Littlefield. And such an enthusiastic ovation for you.
Thank you. Harold, by the way, I would pay a lot of money to watch you have the hiccups for 10 days in a row. So today with me is Mike Street and Mike Barbee, and they're going to talk a little bit about the Central Sandlot. Mike Street is a lifelong resident of Longview and has been involved in various youth programs over the years. When he was 16, Mike started coaching youth baseball at Central Little League. He expanded his coaching at Longview girls softball in 1991 with his firstborn daughter Whitney. When his son Kramer started playing, Mike added youth soccer and basketball to his resume as well. Mike was also involved in the Cowlitz Junior Buddies program, where he personally hosted several young boys in the program along with his wife Patty. So I took that as him and his wife Patty hosted young boys. He didn't host the boys with his wife Patty. When Central and Western Youth Baseball Leagues combined, which eventually led to the closing of the Central Field at Archie Anderson Park, he had a vision of resurrecting baseball at the neighborhood ballpark and enlisted the help of his good friend Mike Barbee. Mike Barbee is a longtime resident of Longview as well and has been involved with youth baseball for about 25 years. He began coaching at Central Youth Baseball when his son Sam started T-ball. At Central, he held several board positions. When Sam moved to Longview Babe Ruth, so did Mike. He coached several years and held board positions there as well. He is still involved at Longview Babe Ruth, serving as the treasurer and resident, technical term here, old guy. Mike has also coached youth soccer and football. 3 years ago, Mike began working with Mike Street to get a walk-up baseball program going at Archie Anderson Park, where Central Little League used to play their games. This past summer was the 3rd year of that program. Please welcome the Mikes so we can learn about Central Sandlot.
You don't want to stay there. No, we do.
You can go down below, or you can, and if you don't want the box, I can kick it out of the way. Or
We don't need a box.
oh, you don't need no stinking box.
That's perfectly good.
Just
Thank
like
you.
we rehearsed, Mike.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Either one of us did that.
Yeah. Good afternoon. My name is Mike Barbee. Ryan, thank you for the introduction. This is Mike Street. We are here representing Central Sandlot Baseball. Our program uses the old major field at, it's now Archie Anderson Park. Many of you know it as Highland Park. So that's where we are. We thank you for inviting us today and letting us share our program. We've got a little slide presentation. We've got pictures of our program. Mike and I will make comments. If you have comments on the way through, please ask. We'll also be perfectly happy to take questions at the end.
So Mike is Mike's the detail guy in this pair of people here putting this together. But he made us some great notes, put us some things together so we make sure we don't miss some important parts. But we've done this a few times. A few people have kind of coined us, hey, the two clowns are back, putting their presentation on again. But in all sincerity, it's been really fun. I'm going to use the word very fortunate. We started having some thoughts, putting some things together, sitting over breakfast, meeting each other, some things like that, just about kind of where youth sports were going in our community. That's not necessarily just baseball, but in general, numbers are declining, less and less kids are participating, things like that are happening for various reasons. So I had a passion for where I grew up playing baseball, down in the Highlands at Archie Anderson Park in the 70s, early 70s. Started coaching, like Ryan said, at 16 years old. Started enlisting my friend Mike. Part of the thing that was the challenge in the back of my mind was, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not as young as I used to be. So we needed some youthfulness behind us to get the kids out, to keep things going, things like that. Mike and I both had gotten to know Ryan and his family through the youth sports organization, primarily at Babe Ruth for my part of it. When Ryan and a young man named Brock Michaelbus became the head coaches at the local high schools, light bulb went on. We go, hey, great young guys. They're passionate for the kids. They're younger than us. We can do some of this stuff. And so we started just chatting, having meetings, talking, some things like that. There are inherent problems down at Archie Anderson Park. The Highlands is not an easy place to maintain a facility, to build some things, to do some things. Then I won't use the C word, the COVID word that we all don't want to hear. COVID put us back a little bit because we just went, timing was bad. Then the city put in the police precinct. As soon as the police precinct went in, we went, you know what, time to go. The calling is right. People need things to do because we can go outside and do some things again. We have some security there. Started meeting with Ryan and Brock, and part of our vision is, number one, to get kids off the couch doing some things that are good for them, those types of things, but to also help funnel that through our middle school and our high school programs. Give them a good culture, have a good foundation, those kinds of things. Ryan brought along a gentleman named Kane Ulrich. Kane is in charge of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and I remember the coffee meeting very well. I think Kane was surprised that we would embrace a religious organization to help us out. I kind of went, well, let's partner up, let's do it, we're good. And that was my take. Maybe I'm wrong, Ryan, I'm not sure. But the Fellowship of Christian Athletes participation has been super important to us to be able to, they do a lot of the organization, a lot of the registrations, things like that. They bring a foundation of Christianity and some things to the kids. We're very solid with how we do things. We don't push it, but we don't hide it either. And they're just a big, big key, bring a lot of volunteers and that kind of thing. So we welcome them with open arms to come and help us out. And then just a typical week, we've tried a couple of different formats. We're not a baseball league like you might think. Here's 62, 63 kids the first year. Not bad, we were happy. This last year, I'm gonna use the number of 108. I think I'm pretty close to that. We charge $20 to come play baseball for 6 weeks. 3 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, most Saturdays. They get that. I was overwhelmed day one of year two. So our 63 kids, if you think about that, they're young. They're 6 to 12 years old, right? They bring a parent, at least one parent. I looked up at one point, day one last year, and there was probably 175 people at Archie Anderson Park. I was overwhelmed and just felt so fortunate. And so that's continued to do really well. So we have 2-hour clinics Tuesdays and Thursdays that are led by high school coaches and their kids, volunteers and long-term coaches around the community, people like yourselves. And we've been very successful. Saturdays, I'm trying to think if we had a Saturday we didn't do this, but we'll have pizza. We'll have Country Folks Deli came out and did hot dogs and chips and things like that one day, so we feed the kids almost every Saturday that we're out there and make sure everybody just has a great experience and has a lot of fun. So from there, I'll let Mike get a few words in here.
We have notes, and they are, some of it's for Mike and some of it's for me. I'm lucky to get my part in. I hand him the microphone and I just stand back. It's all good.
And you're shy, huh?
Well, we're both shy, you can tell. We have been fortunate, as Mike mentioned, to have the support of the high school programs in Longview and also the Legion program. So the Legion program in the person of Joe Bear, the Mark Morris High School program led by Brock Michael Bust, and the R.A. Long program led by Ryan Littlefield. They each take a week. They bring coaches, they bring kids, they bring their players. That's a Mark Morris player. Hal, there's another picture. And lead clinics. So Mike said, we're not a baseball league. It's clinic based. We do different things on different days. What that means is, if a parent signs their child up, they're not obligated. They're not part of a team. That team's not going to be short because the family's got something else to do that day. They're going camping that week, what have you. You can be there. It's wonderful. We're very happy to have you. If you can't be there, we'll see you next time. In addition to the Legion kids and the kids from the 2 high schools, we've got, as Mike mentioned, experienced baseball people from the community who come and help us lead lead the drills. I think we're back to you.
You stay on your agenda way better.
Is that the next slide? Is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is an example of one of the deals we do is when we get there for the day, we gather the kids up, meet the parents, talk to them, things like that. Mike and I are pretty good about roaming around and socializing with people. But we get together, we get everybody together, explain what we're going to do for the day. We introduce all the volunteers. And so all the kids are comfortable with who they're with, or who they're going to work with. We put out the stations they're going to do for the day. And we get into those for about an hour to an hour and a half. And then this is an example of a time that we call mound time. It's around the pitcher's mound that Archie Anderson Park no longer has, but will have soon. We're working on. So we know where that would be placed. So we sit around the pitcher's mound. We call this mound time. We'll give some kind of a motivational, some kind of religious, it's typically a faith-based kind of a conversation, but very lighthearted. Talk to the kids about responsibility to their parents, talk to them about love, how their parents love them, and how maybe that is different than how God loves them. And we have that for about 10 or 15 minutes, very open conversations. I think you'd be amazed at how open the kids get with sharing things with themselves, from themselves, things like that. It's pretty amazing. Through a few weeks into that, we'll actually tell them about inviting God into your life. We'll ask them if anybody wants to do that. We'll bow our heads. People will raise their hands every time. And so I think the goal of that is I hope that we're giving these kids a very good foundation, showing them the right and the wrong things to do, and maybe exposing them to that religious side of things for the first and only time in their lives. Who knows? Hard to say. But again, our focus is fun, doing the right things, and that type of thing. So, let's see, Mike, what am I missing here? One of the things Mike and I can do are tell stories. So this is a note here that says, we have no idea how many levels we'd affect kids. Like I said, we started by wanting to teach the skill of baseball. Then we did a little bit differently with clinics. But Mike and I ended up adjusting and learning, oh, this is going to be different than we thought, in a very good way. And I'll let Mike share a couple of stories for some things.
Couple things. We wanted to introduce kids to baseball. And out of the 35 or 40 kids that came regularly a year ago, this year we had about 15 kids who signed up either at Longview Youth Baseball at John Knoll Park or signed up at Longview Girls Softball down here on 7th Avenue. So, and those were kids who had not played organized baseball before. They were kids who saw that they enjoyed it, saw that they had some talent for it. Their parents saw the same things. And so rather than take away from the established leagues, we intended to and think we were successful in adding to those leagues. And as Mike mentioned very early, we had pretty much twice as many participants this past summer as we had a year ago. So we're really confident that we're on the right path with what we're doing. Okay, this slide. This is a great story. These two are twin boys. They're Asian Pacific, very stocky boys, very long hair. This picture was taken at Story Field. The Black Bears, through Mike's good offices, invited all the kids and the parents to the last game of the season, or to the game the night of our last day of the program. I had been over at Reister Field doing something else during the day, got there late. You can see maybe I looked a little tired. This is our son Sam. And eventually the twins came and sat down with us. Early in the year, one of them would kind of talk to Mike and me, and the other one, you couldn't get him to raise his head from looking at his shoes. Yet, 6 weeks later, they came over, sat down with Sam and me, and we couldn't shut them up. They talked and they talked and they talked, and your mom came by and saw how everything was going, and she actually needed to leave the ballpark to run an errand. She asked the boys if they were okay staying with Sam and me. She asked us if we were okay with it. Everybody was fine with it. Later on, I asked her, I said, "What's the change?" She said, "You are obviously in their safe zone now." Well, those are the kinds of things that Mike was talking about when he said that we just didn't have any idea how many levels we were going to affect these kids on. It didn't work out for them to participate this summer, but Mike has been in contact with their mom, and they do expect to come back next year. Al?
So Mike and I can go on telling stories forever. We won't keep our presentation going that long. If you want to hang around and visit with us and share some stories, we'll be more than happy to do that. We love to. Again, earlier I said fortunate. I mentioned that we charge the kids $20 to play baseball. For that, they get a t-shirt, they get a hat, they get an SCA t-shirt, the experiences that they get. This obviously costs us a lot more than $20 a player to put on. Mike and I have been involved, as you heard in our introduction from Ryan, for a long time. And I just have to thank our community on so many levels, so many different people, that they're financially, people have been very, very generous helping us out. Keeping our league going, getting our league going. We had, I want to say in the 20s or 30s, maybe even the very first year, we had kids that showed up that never had a baseball mitt. We had a box of brand new baseball mitts. They were shocked when they got to keep them and take them home. It was so fun. It was just a blast to do that. Those are all through donations and things from the community and people we know, the athletic community and things like that. We have some plans for improvements. The city's really supporting us very, very well. There was a Parks Department meeting last night that Mike attended. I couldn't make it. We're planning on rebuilding the dugouts that are down there. If you've been down there at all, you notice they're completely gone. We're going to rebuild those with some screen fences around there so that they're open for security purposes and things. We're talking about some irrigation and basically, in a nutshell, continuous improvements at that park. Mike passed over this, but we have permanently mounted some bases in the correct places on the field. So people in the neighborhood who want to walk out and play baseball, have at it. We paid for them, we mounted them, we gave them to the city and said, we want to encourage people to come out and use the park. So anyway, we have planned on year 3 coming up pretty soon, and we thank you guys for being here today.
Questions?
You mentioned that you're teaching them just basics of playing ball, which is great. Do they play games? How do you split them up into teams, or does everybody just, all 20,000 of them play at the same time, or how does that work out?
We typically, on a weekday, we typically have 6 coaching stations. We split the kids up by age and skill level, and then move them through the stations. On the weekends, the vision is that we would play pickup baseball like maybe some of us did back in the day. That's kind of a work in progress. It doesn't quite, that hasn't quite worked out, I think, the way Mike and I would like it to. But that's how we organize. We do find things, typically, I guess on Saturdays, we kind of play workup with the big kids on the baseball field, and we take the little kids around where the t-ball field used to be, if you're familiar with how that park was back in the day, and play wiffle ball with them over there. And so we're keeping the kids separated by size and skill, and hopefully everybody's having fun.
I'll add a little bit to that. We have had several occasions where we just do Sandlot style baseball. You know, schoolyard baseball. You guys go over here, you go over here, grab a couple of captains, pick your teams, come on, let's go play. And so we keep it, a lot of the kids don't know how to do that. Anybody ever tossed the bat in the air, caught it, and did hand over hand until you got the nod, and I'm home or I'm visitors? Those kinds of things. They don't know how to do it. So we're introducing a lot of those things that are kind of fun, but you know, certainly one of the goals is to, once we see numbers being kind of solid and things like that, or to have more game time experience stuff, we have to put some safety in the field first before we can do some of that, which is why we're doing dugouts and some of those things. There are some sideline fences and things in the plans down the road as well.
We've got 2 people with questions.
Okay.
She had the microphone first.
Mike and Mike.
We're not running. She's being ignored.
Oh, wait.
Oh, Cindy's never ignored. Never.
How soon can you guys teach my 13-month-old how to play baseball?
They have to be able to walk.
They can run.
All right.
Big run.
Bring him out.
And he is adorable.
Well, they're all adorable, we know that.
Not true. So Mike and Mike, I know for a fact because our shop did it, as you know, Sessions Plumbing, we sponsored a child through that clinic. Do you want to tell everybody about that? Because you only charge them 20, but I think I paid a little bit more than that.
One of the gracious people we mentioned earlier.
We are,
Advertising dollar?
No.
Oh.
we're quite fortunate, we are quite fortunate that the support of the community is what it is. You know, we do not turn kids away. We do not, frankly, we don't exactly identify them either. So we're in a position with the support, as I say, from the service clubs and from individuals that we just do not turn people away. As Mike said, you know, they're giving us 20 bucks, and frankly, we think $20 is more so the parents realize that they've got something in this. It's not intended to support, you know, our program. We are buying the t-shirts. We actually, you know, we're buying the t-shirts and hats from Terry Skinner out at Little Indian, the things that the supplies we need, the bases we bought and all that stuff we get from Athlete's Corner, simply to keep our business local. If we're going to come and ask businesses and service organizations like yours to support us, we need to support our community as well. Our kids, and Mike mentioned gloves. This year, a guy called us up and said, come to my office. I've got baseball gloves for you. And when we can give a child a baseball glove and say, that's yours. And if you want the pink one or the blue one or the black one, you choose. Here's the box. You take the one you want. And when we've got an opportunity to do that, as Mike said, it's quite gratifying. And that's not a function of him and me. That's a function of people like you.
So how much does it cost to sponsor a child?
I'm not sure we necessarily, what do you want?
I think the best answer to that is more we have kind of an overall goal and a budget of the things we're trying to raise money for. So if we do have children, for instance, Cindy, your money that would come in would be sponsoring those kids that are coming in that can't pay. We're just going to put it in the general fund. So anybody who can't pay, we don't identify as, okay, you're sponsored by Sessions Plumbing or, you know, XYZ, but we have funds to cover those kids so we don't have to worry about that, if that answers that question for you. And then, boy, if I had to put a number, you know, Mike mentioned Terry Skinner and keeping business local. I don't know the numbers, Mike's better about this, but if we went to Terry and said, hey Terry, here's the sizes, we need 96 t-shirts, here's so many kids, volunteers, things like that we've got. She gives us a very good deal on those products to go out and pick up. We go out and pick them up, guess what? We've got 130. She gives us more. And that's just the kind of thing that we talk about when we're being fortunate, is that people are just very generous. Been helping us a lot, and I think we're doing some good things.
What's your time frame that there are kids?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you to be more specific. How do we find a way to contribute directly to your organization? Go in the jail fund, whatever.
Well, I guess how I'd like to answer that, how I'd like to answer that question. For this last year, our budget was $5,000, and that included almost $3,000 on the t-shirts and hats. We spent money on wiffle balls and things like that. We spent money on water and ice for, you know, every afternoon, every Saturday morning. We bought treats, ice cream, whatever, almost every day. Pizza on Saturday morning. we will gladly accept donations. We are a State of Washington nonprofit corporation. We have an IRS tax number. We have not gotten through all the hoops to become a 501c3 organization, but that's coming. My wife has promised to help us with that. Does that answer your question, sir?
Checks go where?
Oh,
I know how to get a hold of them.
yeah. We would, right now, well, we have a bank account at Heritage Bank. We're using my house as the mailing address because I don't think we need to spend the money to buy a P.O. box. So we would be happy to work with your club to, you know, define how the check might need to be made out and where it should be sent. Yes.
I'm assuming Calumet Sandlot baseball, and you give a check to Ryan, and I bet you it would get there.
Central Sandlot baseball,
Yeah.
and if you gave it to Ryan, Ryan knows where to find it.
That's right. So my question is, what's your season? When do you start? When do you?
We ran about 6 weeks. We start the latter part of June. Our goal is to wait until the established leagues have picked their all-star teams, and those kids are off engaged in that. And then any of the rest of the kids who want to come and participate with us, then they're already done with the formal league. And our program runs about 6 weeks through the end of July.
Really, as soon as school's out, right? So as soon as school's out, parents look for things for kids to do. Those types of things. So we thought strategically that worked pretty well for us. I think we felt a little bit of pushback from the youth leagues, thinking we were trying to pull kids away from their program and do our own thing and start another field and things like that. Anybody who's been around for a while, Central and Western Little Leagues have a lot of competition between them. And there's a lot of long memories around our community. So I think some people maybe thought that was kind of the goal, and it's really quite the opposite. We're trying to get more kids to be involved in their program. So we intentionally started it after they were done, as soon as school was out, and then we ended it about the 3rd week of July. Part of that being is because then the youth leagues then start their fall ball program. So again, we're going to bring these kids in, give them some things, and that's where Mike mentioned our numbers of 15 or so kids that went to the fall ball program. They worked really well with us, going, hey, guess what? We don't have $125 to play. We'll pay for you. They will sponsor you. They work really well with us. But to answer your question, it's 6 weeks, starting about the 3rd week of June.
And I'll add too that Mike Street is my cousin, and I know where he lives, so that's one way to get it. But they, I think the first year that he started this, we did donations of popsicles and chips and things like that. So really, there's tons of ways that you can help them, even with just food donations to feed the kids or money. But maybe we can get together, you know, maybe at the next board meeting and see, you know, if we can put some together for them, so.
And Ryan, would you like to present our thank you? Gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Is that if there are folks out there that want to connect with you further, could you stay out there for 5 minutes or so?
Absolutely.
Okay. We'll get the rest of our business done here in just a little bit then.
This is a mug that you can put your favorite beverage in, and a membership for application.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. Okay, so Sunshine Report. Tamers, do you want to tell us about the card or two that you have back there, whatever it is?
President Cheryl. Fellow Lions, yes. And Hal. Ricky. We got a bow card for Tammy Williams, and also, Cindy, I don't know, did you have something to add about Peter Anderson?
It was announced last week. Cheryl?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. It was announced last week that Peter Anderson, who is our MD-19 secretary, went through brain surgery. because he has Parkinson's disease. And so I haven't heard any updates on that, so if anybody has any updates, that would be wonderful to share.
Okay. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. I wanted to add my thanks to the folks that turned out for the United Way of Day of Caring volunteer crew at the PUD on Thursday. We had what I like to call the Spud Buddies team, who washed and bagged potatoes. The Aw Shucks team, who peeled ears of corn. And the Succotash stuffers, or what I call the suckers for short, who filled 145 string bags with assorted garden veggies. 20 pioneers turned out for this 2-hour project. Thank you to you all. Announcements. Carrie Ann. You just did it?
No, what did she have?
Birthday update, birthday. Yeah.
Thank you, President Cheryl, for fellow Lions and guests. On our membership on the website, it has everybody's birthday, well, most everybody, 90%, as January 1st, and then probably the year that you were born. So we're trying to update the birth dates. So I'm going to make a better spreadsheet so we can do that because the printout was very small and hard to read. But keep that in mind when you come to the meetings. Please see me and we'll get your date of birth, please.
Okay. Sharon, you want to tell us about kettle corn?
President Cheryl, fellow Lions and guests. As you know, we started kettle corn back up for a few weeks at Safeway on Fridays. I won't be there this Friday, but I did put a post in on Facebook this week. And if everybody could please go and find it, it's on my personal page and it's also on the Longview Pioneer Lions page, and share it. You would be amazed how many people have said that they came by because they've seen that post. So if you could do that and so we can get word out that we're going to do a few more weeks for the fall. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Zone 9 fall meeting, 10/3, October 3rd, 6 p.m. at the Sons of Norway Hall. Please plan to come if you can. The deadline for RSVPing for the dinner is September 25th. So this, by the way, new Lions, this counts as a visitation if you can show up at the zone meeting. I need to get a head count today of those who already know that they're planning to go. So if you're planning to go, would you raise your hand so I can count you?
What is it?
It's the 3rd of October, 6 p.m. at the Sons of Norway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Probably so far a dozen of us. I'll give Jan, Zone Chair Jan, a call and let her know that we can probably count on 11. Okay. 6 p.m. A dozen or more of us, and I think Marilyn and Steve also already RSVP'd. So there'll probably be 14, 15 of us there. I'll let her know. Terry. Lutefisk? I don't know. I hope not.
No, it's pork loin and baked potato. I can eat
pork
that.
loin and baked potato is what I'm hearing. Okay. I'll say about 15. Okay, also coming up, MD19 convention, October 12th through the 14th at the Sheraton Vancouver in Surrey, BC. There's still time to register. The deadline is 10/6 for that. Registration and links and more information are in the current copy of the Roar, I think. Is that right, Leroy? Okay. Greg, you had something for us?
President Cheryl, for the Lions and guests. I have membership applications for anybody that needs them. If you have a friend, invite them. If you have a friend, you have to have
I'm kind of surprised that I may have a friend.
Second thing, Howard the Purse is coming up. This is another United Way program. It's It's October 19th. We did this last year. We just helped them set up over at the fairgrounds, doing some of the decorations on the tables. And they've got these cloth deals they put over chairs to make it look a little fancier. Anyway, we were over there for about 3 hours, but we only had 13 people there. If we can get more people, we can get in and out of there in a couple hours. And it was a lot of fun, and they'll have donuts and coffee for us.
Does anybody know what I'm going to announce? President Cheryl Feldwein's the guest. 100th anniversary. I've got the forms. We're at about 30 registrants right now. So that's 10% of our goal, and it's early. And I understand some of you may not know what you're going to do on November 30th, but we know where you should be. What we found out last night is the president will be here on November 29th. That's good news because we can find a project for her to work on.
Remember, keep your spidey senses tuned in for lions that you see serving other people in little everyday ways. And give a shout out to them if you see somebody helping others. How do you do that? I'm so glad you asked. Serving cards are over there on the side table and will be over there each week. So fill one out if you see somebody doing something that's exemplary for someone else, or even some just little nice thing. And give it to me or any one of these lovely lady vice presidents up here, and you too, Leroy. So keep your eyes open for that.
Leroy, that's the new one.
One last thing before we leave, a quote. If you don't like the road you're walking, start paving another one. Dolly Parton.